Hello, I am from Modern College of Pharmacy, Yamuna Nagar, Nigadi. Today we are going to discuss regarding the pre-formulation testing of solid dosage forms. Myself is Dr. Atul Phatak. I am working in Department of Pharmaceutics. What is pre-formulation testing? It is a rational, essential step, first step in the rational development of a dosage form from the API or drug substance. Before making a formulation, this is the initial stage how we can proceed. So what is the definition of this pre-formulation? It is an investigation of physical and chemical properties of the drug substance or an API alone and in the combination with the excipients. The objective of this pre-formulation testing is to get the information which is useful to the formulator, to the scientist, to develop a stable and bioavailable dosage form which can be converted or taken to the large scale manufacturing. So what we have before starting the pre-formulation testing, we have the early study data, that is during the drug discovery and development. Few properties, few parameters are available, like the gross particle size of the API, melting point of that drug, some infrared spectroscopical graphs, some TLC graphs, some indication regarding the purity of that API. So this data is very useful in guiding and it will be a basis for the pre-formulation work. Before going for this pre-formulation study, the scientist or the formulator should consider the following points. First, an important point is the available data, available physico-chemical properties of the drug, including the structure of the drug, different possible salts which are available. Then very important point is the therapeutic class of the drug. What is the dose of the drug? How much quantity of the drug is available for the study? The supply situation and the development schedule, means how much time is there in your hand to go for the pre-formulation studies. What is the urgency? What is the need? Then what about the availability of the stability indicating methods, the assays? All this information is very useful before starting a pre-formulation study for a formulation scientist. We are discussing the pre-formulation study for the oral solid dosage forms. Obviously a tablet dosage form. Then which different types of formulations are possible? Just a review of this: immediate release formulation, delayed release, the chewable form, the specialized effervescent form, dispersible form, the capsule form. So what we are going for, means what is our goal, what is our aim to convert this API into which suitable oral solid dosage form. So this what we mean by the immediate release. So all that is why we are considering their definitions also, their properties also, their requirement also. While going for the formulation, what the pre-formulation scientist has to remember is he has to optimize the technical feasibility, stability and bioavailability of the formulation, and he should consider the following properties or parameters, that is the compatibility of the given drug or API with the excipients, flowability properties of that API, compactability, then lubricity, appearance, disintegration properties, dissolution properties. While going for the pre-formulation studies, not only for the solid dosage form, for any dosage form or formulation, these are the few essential steps, you can say, essential 6 steps which has to be taken before going for the pre-formulation process or during the pre-formulation process. The steps are given like this. First, an important study which we are doing in the pre-formulation study is the study of the physico-chemical properties of the API or drug, that is the molecular weight, molecular structure, color, odor, particle size, shape, crystallinity, melting point determination, then thermal analysis, differential thermal analysis, DSA study, then hygroscopicity of the API, then the spectroscopy, UV, IR. Then very important area in the pre-formulation, what we are doing is the solubility study for the API, for the drug, that is solubility in the water, solubility in other solvents. Very importantly, the pH solubility curve or pH solubility profile, various possible salt forms, use generally or possible co-solvents, then the complexation properties of the drug, possibility of prodrug approach, then effect of pH on the spectroscopy, ionization properties of the API, volatility, optical activity, polymorphism, solvate formation properties of the API. All these physicochemical properties we are covering in the pre-formulation, and these properties are the base, they are the foundation for the formulation, possible formulation from the API. Then the compressibility properties in detail we are going to discuss or study in the pre-formulation, as well as the physico-mechanical properties like the density and compressibility, bulk density, tap density properties. Then the microscopy, photomicrograph, then in vitro studies also we are carrying out using the API, like the dissolution properties, dissolution studies of the pure drug in the drug crystal form, in the drug pellet form. Then in ex vivo drug release studies we are doing in the animals or by using the models. Then other studies which are carried out during the pre-formulation is plasma protein binding, effect of compatible excipients on the dissolution properties of the API, then kinetic studies, drug degradation studies during in the solution form, what is the rate of degradation of the drug, then possible radio labeling of the drug. All these are the essential steps which are carried out in the pre-formulation studies of a solid dosage form. Now we are going to discuss only two properties, physicochemical properties, like color odor test and the purity in this session. First organoleptic property for the API is the color. If the color is appealing, very good, white, then it's okay. If it is not appealing to the eye, then we can go for the correction. We can use any acceptable dye, or we can think of a coating for the drug. This is the list of acceptable dye or coloring agents used by various regulatory bodies. So all these colors are used which are approved by these regulatory bodies. Then the next and very important property is the odor. If it is palatable, then it is very good. If it is unpalatable, then you can go for the solubility. You can go for the less soluble form of the API if there is no change in the bioavailability. You can again go for the flavors. You can add flavors to that to mask this drug. You can go for the use of the excipients. You can go for the coating. You can think of coating for the drug. Then if the drug is having some irritation to the skin, properties like drug skin irritation, then we have to think for the handling precautions during the manufacturing, during the use of the drug. While using the flavors, dyes, excipients to cover, to mask the taste and odor, we have to think of the stability and bioavailability. We are not compromising stability and bioavailability of the API. These are some terminologies which are used to explain the color of the API: off-white, cream yellow, tan, shiny. We are using the terminologies to express the odor: pungent, sulfurous, fruity, aromatic, or odorless, what we want. Then test, we want tasteless, but some other tests the drug do have. So acidic drug, bitter drug, intense test, sweet test. So these are the terminologies which are used. Coming to the final point for the today's talk is the purity. While we are going to get the API from the drug discovery process, so we have to think of the purity of that API. Generally, the drug with the impurities are not accepted, but few impurities are still there. So what these impurities they are going to contribute, they are going to affect the stability of the API, stability properties. Then they are going to affect the color, appearance. Then they are going to may give the toxic or carcinogenic actions. So for that purpose it is very important. So what is the basic remedy? If the impurity is there in the API, you can go for the crystallization, recrystallization. By using suitable solvents, you can go for recrystallization. Other techniques are there to characterize the impurity or to characterize the purity of the API. You can go for the TLC study, HPLC study, generally used to identify the impurity. You can go for the gas chromatography if needed. So impurities are defined by two definitions. One is the impurity index, which is defined as a ratio of responses or the peak areas due to the component other than the main one. So that is the response by the other components. And the homogeneity is defined as a ratio of responses, that is peak areas due to the main component to the total response. So this is an example of a HPLC chromatograph for a typical experimental drug. You can observe here 7 other minor peaks and one big peak of that pure drug. So the retention time is also measured, the area is measured here, and how to find out the impurity index. So the impurity index is the area due to the other responses. So all 7 minor peaks, they contribute, the total area is 251 divided by the total peak or response. The peak response is 4620 plus the other responses are 251. So it's a summation, and the ratio gives you 0.0515. The impurity index is 0.05. Then the homogeneity index is when we are going to minus it from the unity, that is the homogeneity index, that is 0.9, it comes 0.9485. So USP also defines impurity index. As per the USP, the definition is it is a ratio of responses due to the impurities to the responses due to the defined concentration of a standard main component. This is generally done by using TLC, and the limit is maximum 2% impurities. So all these terminologies are, that is the impurity index, homogeneity index, USP impurity index, are not absolute measures of the impurity. For more accurate analysis and identification of each individual impurity, the different methods can be used, which are very sophisticated methods available. So these are the differential thermal analysis method, thermogravimetry, differential scanning colorimetry. You can go for the powder X-ray diffraction methods. So all these methods or all these tools are available to you. Now summarizing what we have covered is, what is the pre-formulation concept, what is the objective, what are the steps involved in the pre-formulation, and we have just started some pre-formulation analysis, that is the physicochemical properties, in that very specifically organoleptic properties of the API. So with this we are going to stop, and we are going to continue with the other physicochemical properties in the next talk. Thank you.